Okay, it's 6 o'clock, we're on the air, to call the meeting to order. The first item is adoption of the agenda. We do have an addendum, which is a resignation we'll need to accept. So I would accept a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I so move.
By Roger, second by Olivia. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 7-0. 3.0 is approved minutes of the February 18th regular meeting and the March 5 special meeting.
I did notice on what would be on page 3 under discussion and possible action on the bus barn, it has on here that front paragraph as far as the design of bus barn or postponing any further discussion until February 2020. I think we had said that was supposed to be April or after we had basically our facilities plan presentation. Was it April? Was it April or we push it back further than that? I don't recollect.
I don't think we even say it, did we? I think
It was just
pushed it
after
back.
we got it.
Yeah,
the
to
next.
see what the money situation was.
So how would y'all like that to read? I don't recall.
Yeah, so that was moved by Mr. Jordan.
April.
Member to table the bus barn till a later date.
Okay, yeah. Discussion was one thing, but the motion to table it is okay as it is. Have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
David, second by Joanne. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 7-0. 4.0 is consideration of bills and warrants. Any questions, comments on this time?
Motion to approve the bills and warrants.
Motion by David,
Second.
second by Roger. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 7-0. Hearing requests and suggestions from citizens. I see no one that is here to make those discussions. Special reports. You're going to not have the special reports as listed. So we're ready for 7.0, the superintendent's report.
All right, okay, so we did have state basketball last week, and on Thursday, we had first-round games, and then Keisha did close down the tournament, and so we played a first-round game, suffered a tough loss, but then, everything was closed. So there's a whole lot of other things on here. The big thing on the agenda is COVID-19, or the coronavirus. So we have daily contact with KSDE, which is the Kansas State Department of Education, and the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, in regard to recommendations for schools and things. So they did recommend yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock that we close schools for a week. It worked out timing-wise okay for us because we only had school 4 days this week. We're off on Friday. That begins our spring break, and we're off all week next week. So I think they said 99.9% of Kansas schools were closed this week. Some extended their break, some started their break early, and some are on break now. So it is a day-by-day call and a decision, so things are continually being updated through the State Department and through the Health Department. So I did meet with local superintendents today. We had our 12:30 call and met together. Tomorrow morning, we're meeting with the Lebec County Health Department Director, county superintendents, the emergency management, mental health, and all of those folks to talk about a plan. So while our buildings are closed, we are providing meals. So at each of the elementary buildings and each of the middle school and the high school, breakfast today was from 7:30 until 9, and then lunch was from 11:30 to 1. And today when they came for lunch, they picked up their breakfast for tomorrow. So there was a middle schooler today, when I saw him at breakfast, he looked really tired. And it was pouring down rain. And he came to get his breakfast, and I said, just think, when you come back to get your lunch, you get your breakfast for tomorrow, you don't have to get out of bed. And he said, oh, I love you, Miss Fred. So that was good. So it does appear we fed over 300 meals today in breakfast and in lunch. We're working in conjunction with 506, our neighbors to the south. They are also serving meals. They're serving them at all of their bus stops in town. And so any child can go to any of their bus stops and get a meal, or they can come to one of our locations and get a meal. Doesn't matter where they attend school. So we're able to offer that through the summer food service program. So anyone 0 to 18. Now, you have to have a kid has to come with you. An adult can't come and say, I need 6 meals, please, or I need 12 meals. We have to, see the kids so that we can hand out those meals. But they're there. They'll be there again tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And what if they're sick?
What if a child is sick? Then if they have a sibling that can come, or, a parent that comes, and we're going to be reasonable, we're going to use common sense.
Do we mark them off that they've got the meal? No?
We don't, what we do is we tally, so we know the numbers. That's how it works with the summer food service program. You don't have to give names, you just have to give numbers.
Lou, do you have thoughts on this? I mean, because I know this is something that's,
Area.
do you have thoughts on this? I know this is something that's dear to your heart. Do you have?
I just want to make sure that everyone gets fed no matter what.
Right.
I mean, working for Labette Assistance Center, I know people come up that don't really need the food.
Right.
They give it to them.
You do,
And-
you just do. Yep.
I just didn't know if there was things you were hearing that could be improved the
No, I
process.
haven't heard anything negative.
Okay, all right.
To be honest.
Good. I think it's worked really well, considering we've never done it before. In this kind of situation, this is really, everything is very, very fluid, but I just have to say, what a fabulous group we have. Our maintenance guys and our custodial staff, they are working hard. Our transportation, because at one time we thought we were going to have to do the whole social distancing and the number of kids separate, those kinds of things. Our drivers came in to figure out different transportation routes to get everyone picked up and spread out. Our administrators are just doing a fabulous job. They really are. They've worked hard to get plans made, and then today they were out handing out the meals and loading the vans in the pouring down rain this morning. So, and Tanya and Barb, they're at the office filling out all the food service applications and the waivers and things so that we can serve meals, and Amanda's answering the phone, and Linda's right there telling me, okay, you've already said that. Because I haven't had a lot of sleep, and sometimes I repeat myself. So it's really been a good community effort. We've had a lot of positive feedback and support because we just want to do what's best for our kids in this time. And the reality is, in a few years, a kid's not going to remember probably the symptoms of COVID, the virus itself, but what they're going to remember is how they felt in their home and how they felt at school and with the adults. And so we just want to make sure that we approach it and we're as prepared as we can be, and we're calm and just setting the tone. So I do know this week sophomores are getting library deliveries. So, because they're working on a project, so there was something that went out so kids could get some books. And we've got some other staff that are doing some things as well. But that's just going to continue to evolve.
Checking Google accounts at school and keeping up that way, I noticed was on Facebook quite a bit today. So
And so-
I think it's not just sophomores, anybody can get the.
Oh, is it?
book.
Oh, good.
She said anybody that wants.
Good. I know sophomores have a project, so I think maybe for them it wasn't a choice.
If it's under what one it is.
Yeah.
So when you hand out food in boxes, you don't have to wear gloves or
Oh, no,
hats?
we have gloves when we hand it out. So the people that are making the meals are OPA folks, and so they've all been trained and they all have on gloves. And then when we hand out the meals, like we have to have a gloved hand to give them the milk, but everything is already pre-packaged in a shell.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And today, for breakfast, it was, there was cereal, yogurt, a fruit, juice, and a milk. And for lunch today, there was a really nice ham sandwich, it had a good piece of ham on it, and cheese, and there's fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, it was all prepackaged, and milk, and I think there was a little cookie. Graham crackers, close to a cookie. So that's what we're doing, now.
Now, I don't want to rain on the parade, but we're going to get some severe weather coming up.
We are. That's on my list, actually. I have a folder, a red folder for COVID-19 with all of my notes and all of the updates, and that's something on the list for tomorrow for the emergency management.
It's like
And so
5 inches of rain.
Yeah, what's the plan in regard to opening safe rooms?
for tomorrow.
For up through Thursday, and then it's going to rain again next week.
Right. And that may just be someone else's way of making sure folks stay inside and, aren't out
Yeah,
congregating.
so-
I don't know, possibly. So it is really just a fluid thing. I'll continue to give you updates as soon as I know anything, but we've got a good group. We're fortunate Matthew Peak's done a great job too with Apogee. Now that, when the board voted to do Apogee, that's really helped get out that information on social media, on texts, emails, the phone calls. That's really made that a smoother process. So right now, we're just doing it day by day. We're off this week, and I will for sure let everyone know we're feeding lunch tomorrow at our 5 sites, and then you'll get breakfast for the next day. So,
And Friday, there'll be
and so Friday, we can't.
meals.
Yeah, we can't serve meals on Friday because it's not a school day. We weren't scheduled to be in school. So on Thursday, when they have their lunch, then we can't give them breakfast for Friday because Friday we're closed. So we're going to give them a snack. So they'll have lunch and a snack. But then all of the 506, they were scheduled to be in class all week this week. So their bus stops and their drop-offs will be open. So our kids could go on Friday to those
No, I
locations.
was talking about meals on Friday for Catholic kids.
Oh, we are not doing anything right now because we're not doing it on Friday. So I would assume that 506 would have a non-meat option for Friday, but I don't know. I mean, I bet someone could be, so.
Have there been anything said about these days are off? Are these makeup?
That's a good question.
So it's just,
That-
I'm just curious. I'm sure.
Well, that was a lot of the discussion in the beginning last week. They said, well, if the superintendent just calls off school, because legally, that's within my parameters, you have to have 1,116 hours. Now, if the governor, the president, or the Department of Health says you need to shut down, then there's the eligibility for a waiver. You could also make up the 1,116 hours, or you could go to an online platform. We don't have the infrastructure to go to an online platform. Not everyone has something at their home, internet, those kinds of things. So it was, if I canceled early, we would have had to have made it up, clear, and you have to clear until June the 30th. They've given you plenty of time. And so we were waiting because we felt like it would be safest to keep kids in school. We had, a lot of social distancing and cleanliness things in place. And then when they strongly recommended that we close, then we closed. So I would assume that these days will be waived.
Well, that's what I read. They'll be waived until next KSDE meeting in April.
Okay, good. So there was still some discussion on that today. So state assessments, that's not the top priority at this point. Now is state assessment time, and so we would have started today. They've suspended that for right now, so, which is good. So
But they're suspended nationwide, so.
they are, and they also
Now they
suspended.
could use the computers.
Yeah, they also suspended our accreditation visits. We're to have an accreditation visit, and they said, they didn't suspend it, but they said, don't worry about doing that right now and all of that paperwork. So that was kind of a relief too, because there's a lot of things that need to be done, and so it's nice when you can focus on something else. So something else that is in your packet that I just want to give to you just to look at is a draft of the strategic plan. And my plan this weekend had been to make it look really pretty. It looks like this. I think Amanda handed them out separate. So the plan was to make it really pretty and get it all cleaned up, and then we ended up doing a little pandemic planning instead. So I just printed off what I had. And then, but I wanted you to see this, because this is the brains of all of it. All of our administrators took all the things that staff had said and that our community members had said and really tried to get that down to just a few things. And so we put it into a plan. Well, and I've typed it up. There are 5 different components to the plan: student supports, communication, community, personnel, infrastructure, and facilities. And then under each of those are a few items. So I will need input from the board, because it is the board's plan, so that we can determine if those are the 5 areas and which of those things you want us to focus on, so then we can write action plans, or if there are other things that you would prefer. So we will have a page, something that looks like this for all of us to have, but in real life, in the community, nobody wants to read this in the community. It's going to be long, it's not, but we are attempting, I do want to have something that looks something similar to this. This is just the beginning stages, but a 1-page thing that we can hand out to our patrons that say, this is a portrait of a Parsons student. These are the things that in Parsons schools we work on. The Viking is in the middle. And then here are the 3 or 4 specific things in the next 3 to 5 years that the board's going to work on under each of these puzzle pieces.
So every school district in Kansas has the same vision, mission, motto, and outcomes for mission?
No. Well, the Kansas, okay, on the front right there, that is what we have developed as administrators, taking the information from the board and all of those work sessions. That our vision is to create a better tomorrow for Parsons students today. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And we're committed to providing opportunities that make sure students are academically and socially prepared to maximize their potential. Now, when you open it up, that's all the Kansas Commission, that's the Kansas State Board of Education. This is their vision, their mission, their motto, and this is how they're going to measure success. So in the past, it's always been, you are measured by how you do on state assessments. And the reality is now that that's not where the State Board of Education is focusing. They're focusing on these things. And that gives us a lot of great opportunities to teach an entire child, a whole child, instead of just prepping for a state assessment. So I have a little piece in there. Then we'll put all the names of everyone who worked in there, who helped participate. Like I said, the plan had been to get this, make it look really pretty. But sometimes life just happens. And so we did a little pandemic planning, but I want you to know that we are working on it and feedback would be good so that I know which direction and which to go.
So does that include the state? I know with the community, the state came in and basically facilitated that process. Does that incorporate all the feedback into a main driver, I guess?
Anything else?
There are a whole lot of dates coming up, but in the current situation, there's no point in going through those dates. We'll just wait and see, but take things as we know it. And know that if for some reason we are still closed after spring break, meals will begin that Monday after spring break on the off chance we're not back in class. So
I want to commend Lori and Linda and all the staff who worked tirelessly this weekend to put stuff together and then have it thrown out the window and start over. And they've done a great job to keep us in the position we're in. Okay, ready for a report of the Board of Education. Joanne, you're up. You took my place this month.
Yes, I did. It was an hour and a half meeting. First, we heard the report on the federal audit for Tri-County, and that was all good. They have sold their SNV building located at 1001 North 13th, and a sale will be had in May, unless it's moved to teacher's inventory. So if we're interested in anything, we'll get a flyer about that. They're actively recruiting special education teachers and speech language paths. The majority of the meeting was on the budget. Emily's really worried. It's not getting funded really well, and we have had an influx of special education students, and so she basically wants to wait till they know what the state is going to give them before we know what we're going to have to pay.
but it is going to be a substantial increase.
Yes.
It's a significant increase.
It seems like they've been kind of underfunded every year, and so it's worse this year. And that was about it.
What do we pay Tri-County now? Roughly.
$885,000 approximately.
$1,000. And so this last estimate I saw was
11.1.
Over $1 million.
over $1 million.
1,081,000. It's going to be a significant increase if the funding doesn't increase at the state level.
Said Tri-County serves 1,588 special education students.
And so as those numbers continue to go up, and especially in our community, then, our costs rise proportionally. So. it's a
Any other
big
questions for Joanne? Okay. The suspended board, principals reports, so we're.
There's a little packet for you.
Handout for you.
So you can take them home and read them.
Peruse at your leisure. So we're ready for new business, acceptance of donations, that's on page 43.
Okay,
How
so,
about the college tuition?
Oh, that's also submitted till next month. They weren't ready to make a report yet.
I had the wrong date.
Okay, no, that's all right. I just saw it there. Nobody
Right,
said anything
yeah.
about changing it.
Sorry, I thought.
That was my fault.
All right, so the donations for the month, the district office, Bruce Cottage, Parsons State Hospital donated $330 towards lunch balances for students. St. John's Episcopal Church donated $355.22 towards lunch balances. First Baptist Church donated $361 towards lunch balances. And the sorority donated $220.75 towards lunch balances for a total of $1,266.97. Garfield Wesley United Methodist Church made an unrestricted donation of $130.14. That was their total for the month. At Lincoln, an anonymous donation of coats valued at $10. And David and Susan Harold Clothing Closet donated $65 for a total of $75 at Lincoln. There were no donations at Guthridge this month. At the middle school, Daylight Donuts donated donuts for the book fair, $22.47. Parsons Cedar donated gift certificates valued at $25 for $47.47 total there. The high school, there was an anonymous honor flight donation of $492. Warren Vincent, cans for Kansas Honor Flight, the Honor Flight program, $700 donation. Chatopa High School, the Honor Flight program, $8,000 donation. Commercial Bank, the Honor Flight program, $1,000 donation. Kevin Wiles, $100 donation for the Honor Flight program. Michelle Smith, for the graphic design program posters, donated $816. Stephen Smith for Deere Incorporated, the graphic design program, $80 donation. Ohio Pile Prints for the positive reinforcement program, $22.40. Louisa Weiner, positive reinforcement program for student planners, $2,420. Stevens Vending Corporation, positive reinforcement program, $36.16. The Lebec Community College TSA program, they made a $100 donation. Parsons Foursquare Church made a $150 donation for the FCCLA program, totaling $13,916.56 at the high school, for a total of $15,436.14 donations for the month.
So did Chatopa High School do something as a fundraiser to come up with $8,000?
Chatopa High School is one of our partners, and they had a fundraiser last fall that raised $64,000.
What did they do?
They had a sporting clay shoot and a
Clay
raffle
Lodge?
over at Flint Oaks, and they raised it was 64,000 something was raised at that.
Jeez. Well, they need a pat on the back. That was awfully nice.
Yes, it was.
Now, they partner to get to send eight kids with us and 4 adults in our group.
And Louisa,
Chatopa and St. Paul.
I'm sorry?
Chatopa and St. Paul combined,
That's
that
awesome.
school district.
And Louisa Weiner has been donating this $2,000 or $3,000 every year for almost 35 years since Tom Lundblad and I started the Renaissance program way back in the 80s. So she's an awfully good
Very
patron.
She has.
Any other comments? Accept the motion to approve the adoption of the donations.
Move to- Second.
Roger, second by Joanne. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried 7-0. 10.1, action on jobs for American graduates, JAG program.
All right, this is the formal partnership to implement and continue with JAG. It's a multi-year school-to-work program at the high school. They came and presented on it at last board meeting or the board meeting before. The cost is $11,000 to the district. I do believe it's beneficial, and I would recommend that you approve that.
Any questions? Accept the motion to approve the
Move to approve the JAG program.
motion by Joanne.
Second.
Second by Roger. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried 7-0. 10.2 is the academic calendar for next year.
Okay, so this proposed calendar starts with students on August the 20th, ends May the 21st. It includes the 168 days for students, 176.5 days for teachers. 8.5 of those are professional development days. The calendar also features 4 early release days for students so that staff can do some more professional development. There were numerous members of the calendar committee: Rob Barkas, Kelly Bedore, Autumn Dickens, Paul Deroni, Roger Deroni, Kurt Fries, Mary Fries, Tyler Gordon, Penny Jackmano, Skylar Keel, Olivia Lyons, Melissa Peak, and Whitney Spencer. So we appreciate their work on that calendar, and I would recommend that you approve the 2021 academic calendar as presented.
Any questions? Take a motion to approve it, please.
Move to approve.
Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Roger. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, carries 7-0. 10.3, action on student and athletic accident insurance.
All right, so the district carries two different insurance policies to cover student accidents. The first policy has a cost of $24,463 a year, and that covers all school accidents of our enrolled students. So it's a secondary insurance. So what it does is after a student's primary insurance has paid, it will pick up 70% of what's left of the deductible costs for the parents. It's a great benefit. We've used it at my house a number of times. And that has not, the cost is the same as last year. The other one is a catastrophic accident policy, and that one is based on enrollment, and it pays additional funds to parents for those costs if there was a catastrophic accident. It's very reasonable. I think last year it was $659 or something like that, but it's based on your student enrollment. So
if a student has an injury that's pretty severe, let's say, and this hospital, Labette Health, can't do the surgery,
right.
does this cover like Freeman or Tulsa or Kansas City?
It's my understanding that it does.
That's what
Yes.
that catastrophic is for.
Okay,
The catastrophic is.
okay,
extra.
that's good.
Yes. It's a $1 million policy.
Okay, that's good.
So this has nothing to do with Keisha. Does Keisha carry anything?
They do, they have a policy that is a catastrophic policy as well. It's about $6 a head for everybody who participates in any activity.
So these could be combined with the students supposedly,
Yeah.
in theory, maybe?
Are the parents informed? How are the parents informed?
That they have this insurance. Anytime a student is involved in an accident at school, they're given a form to fill out, and attached to that form is a first agency form. Usually it's blue. We found out that this year they weren't all blue. And they are then told they just have to fill out their portion, and then they have to send it in. And so, but when the secretary gives them the letter, either from Rob or from Tyler or from the principal, it's got the first agency form attached to it, and with the directions on how to fill it out and send it in.
And Olivia, then when that comes to the district office, I take that accident form and send it to first agency. And then if first agency gets bills, and a lot of times parents don't understand, so then I just call parents, tell them, okay, we have to have the signed form from you. And so sometimes it takes extra. Not too long ago, we had a parent call me from something that happened in the end of 18, and I called first agency, they worked it out, and in a couple of weeks, they had it all sorted out.
They're
So-
really good to work with.
But you call the parents?
Yes, the parents.
That's what I need to know.
Mhm.
Good deal. Or they can call me.
Right.
Or they can call me, or a lot of times the secretaries and the principals
Yeah.
tell the parents, what to do, but to call me if they have questions.
That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions? We'll accept a motion to approve this renewal.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Olivia. No other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 7-0. 10.4 is executive session on elected personnel and negotiations. Doris says about
10.
10.
There was one other thing. Well, we could do it in 5 if we talked real fast.
Anybody else have anything they need to add to the executive session?
Then we can do it in 5.
Question.
Okay, so,
It'll take hopefully 2 minutes.
okay, let's go 10 then. This 5 usually is too long, too short.
Right.
So need a motion for 10 minutes to an executive session.
I so move.
Motion by Roger,
Second.
second by Joanne, to go to executive session, to discuss confidential employee information pursuant to non-elected personnel, exception of Tacoma, and the exception of employer-employee negotiations in Tacoma. Go in at 6:29 for 10 minutes, come back at this meeting at 6:39. This will include the board and superintendent, assistant superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't need to.
I'm gonna talk,
I-
I'm going over, we're meeting Monday. Okay, we're back in session. Anybody have any need to go back into anything else? Good. All right, 10.5 is motion to approve the negotiation letter,
Those were those three items that we
and that was
talked
the three items that we talked about in executive session. We all okay with going with that? If so, we need a motion to approve that.
Move to approve.
Motion by Jeff, second by Lou, to go into, to send a negotiated letter. Any questions, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, carries 7-0. 10.6, action on personnel, this is employment.
We've got quite a list of recommendations for employment. Rajon Alamenu as the middle school principal effective the 2021 school year. Deborah Fouts, bus driver, effective March the 30th, 2020. Mary Fries, high school assistant track coach, effective the 1920 season. Andy Hopper, high school assistant baseball coach, effective the 1920 season. Kaylee Kroll, middle school assistant track coach, effective the 1920 season. And Luke Manners, high school assistant baseball coach, effective the 1920 season. Harvey Whiteside, the third, maintenance tech, effective March the 16th, 2020. I'd recommend that you approve those recommendations for employment.
Any discussion? Accept a motion to approve those.
Move to approve?
Motion by Joanne,
Second.
second by Jeff. No more discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carry 7-0. Resignation from employment.
Okay, we have two of those. Bailey Payne, fifth grade teacher, effective at the end of the 1920 school year. Chris Palmiere, the high school assistant baseball coach, effective March the 9th. And then we have that addendum, resignation for employment, Matthew Goltz, high school custodian, effective March the 13th. I would recommend that you approve those resignations.
So move.
Okay, motion by Jeff, second by Roger. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, carries 7-0. And resignation for retirement.
We have one resignation for retirement this year, or this month. Mary Ann Hanson, who has dedicated numerous years to 503, a preschool teacher, and had taught fourth grade prior to that. She would like to retire at the end of the 1920 school year. So I recommend that you honor that resignation for retirement.
Motion by Lou,
Second?
second by Joanne. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, carries 7-0.
Okay.
Anything for the good of the country? If not,
Do we need to have a motion about the classified pay, or is that? Okay, got it.
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go out.
Have a great, safe month.
Absolutely. Go wash your hands.
Stay healthy.